Hi, I'm Kyle T. Mosley here with the HBCU Legends, and we have a legend within her own right. She works for the NFL as the vice president of, let me get it right, business operations strategy within football operations, correct?
Correct. You are correct.
Right. We are here with Miss Natara Holloway. How are you doing, Natara?
I am fantastic.
All right. I appreciate you spending some time with me today to kind of talk about what happened at the NFL HBCU Open House with the commissioners from the four major HBCU conferences, SWAC, MEAC, SIAC, as well as the CIAA.
CIAA. I learned that. You gotta say double A.
Yeah, you're right. So how was the event? I mean, you guys had 2 days with the commissioners. You guys talked about a whole lot of things, but just share with me your immediate takeaways.
Yeah, so no, it was phenomenal. And this is an event that we have in order to ensure that administrators and students and student athletes, alumni are aware of the opportunities and initiatives that the NFL and the HBCUs put on together in partnership. And this year we had it in the hybrid formation, in which we invited all of the conference, each of the conference commissioners to our new home in LA, and we wanted to show off our new home for a little bit, and then just really do a deep dive into needs, gap analysis, what we had as a success over the last year. We actually talked to the commissioners over the year. Each one of the conferences had a representative here this past 2 days, and we really had some great conversations. Into your question of what did we learn, it was around like I said, successes that we had over the year, but how can we do things better? And we did a lot more listening than talking. We did a lot of idea sharing and coming up with some really cool thoughts for what to do over this next year. But really just wanted to understand what are their challenges, and if there are possibilities for the NFL to partner more so that we can be a resource for them. And we heard things about NIL. We heard things about resources from an equipment perspective, coaching, just information on mental health. We heard things around athletic trainers. And so just wanting to be more responsive to the needs, as opposed to trying to say, hey, we have this program, come to it. It was more about how do we build programming around the things that you guys are telling us.
Right. You know, for such a long time, the schools had been in financial straits, right? And a lot of times the athletic departments don't get the funding of a major Division I school would get. Will the NFL kind of help out in that area to kind of be the bridge to help to fill in the gap there for them?
So you say, I'm sure you're aware, and your listeners are aware as well, that there are lots and lots of guidelines and rules around funding. And so we are relying on our foundation to do some of that resources, and a lot of the clubs and their foundations are also filling in that gap. A lot of partners are filling in that gap because we are a professional sports league. We are governed by a number of rules inside the NCAA. So we've actually been meeting with the NCAA to see what are the ramifications and guidelines that we can sort of work with them to make sure that under-resourced schools or estimated schools may have opportunities that the NFL may fill. And so it's really going to be through our foundation that comes from a financial perspective, but that's not actually what people were asking for. People often think it's straight up money, write the check. And although, like I said, we'll be working with the foundation in order to do that, it was more around how do we get access, opportunity, exposure, experience for students and student athletes in the career space? How do we make sure that they are aware that even if you don't play football, there are so many different careers that you could have in this space? Even if you don't play Madden, what kind of careers are built around the game, that billion-dollar gaming industry? And so we really focused on, yes, I know the financial piece of it, and everybody's pledging money, and we talked about that a lot, because I was like, y'all got getting a lot of money. How do we make sure that it's being utilized in the proper way, and how do we make sure that that's sustained grants and sustained sponsorship for the schools? But beyond that, it was really around how do we make sure that we are bridging the gap in the Black community around wealth and economic growth, as well as career advancement and opportunities for students and student athletes.
Wow. Okay. So let me throw out a scenario. So a lot of student athletes want to play football, basketball, whatever professional sport after they are in school. But there's a lot of other auxiliary careers that are out there, like in media. Esports is big. You mentioned that. But did you guys talk about some of the common, I guess the common, but kind of overlooked careers that are behind those, like producing, programming and things to that nature, for guys on esports, or just trying to learn how to be able to put business models together for themselves if they would like to go into business and in those particular arenas?
Fantastic question. And yes, we have a program called the NFL Internships, and it is exactly that. So we take students. I mean, let's be real. When you take a student of any caliber, any school to Super Bowl, there's this wow factor, right?
Yeah.
But they actually do work, and they're not working in, like you said, those traditional sort of jobs. You're looking at folks that are. What does programming look like in player engagement? What does it look like for a PR assistant in the day-to-day job during one of the largest events and one of the largest events to have media? They go to draft, they go to Hall of Fame. So that there's this experience-ship that gives them real life experience of the fact that this is a job, this is a business. Sports is the icing on the cake. It sounds really fun from the outside looking in, but at the end of the day, there are so many jobs, from a sound control engineer at NFL Network to somebody in security, to an auditor, my favorite career, to a strategist. My team, we have data scientists. So we attempt to make sure that we're exposing students to all facets of the career base, as well as we have HBCU. We partner with HBCU Battle of the Brains. So for those STEM type of jobs and it's around, it's a pseudo hackathon that we do with South by Southwest, and like I said, Battle of the Brains, in which they come up with solutions to real problems. They're looking at real problems that employees of the NFL have been, mulling over for in some cases, a couple of years, and they're coming to us with solutions. We have them do case studies. We have them do, just opinions and recommendations for different things. And so we're not trying to snow anyone and say, you're going to be, I'm only saying this because I'm in the LA office, and that's what they're playing music today, and they free food, and people have on t-shirts because it's our third day in the office. But that's not, we make sure the students come on the fourth day and they roll up their sleeves and know what it is really like to run or be a part of a business. This is a business.
Yeah. That's what my old band director used to say. This is a business, you see, Dad. If you're holding that flag, you're holding that flag for a reason. If you are just doing something to wipe up the equipment, you're doing it for a reason. It's going to get you somewhere. And when you're young, especially when you're going through college, you want the glitz, the glamour of it all, right? So when it comes to internships, do you guys provide the internships, the opportunities for young, talented people from HBCUs during the off times, like in the summertime, between classes, that you guys are going to offer some of those type of opportunities this coming fall?
Yeah, so in the summertime, we actually have a real program for summer interns. It's about 9 weeks. There were 55 interns over this summer. There's a number of slots that are specifically we look at HBCU students for, but they can compete for any of those 55 slots. In fact, our intern, who was from Howard, he's going into his senior year at Howard University. He's actually going to intern because of his experience with us this summer, and he's been part of our programs. He's going to enter into a internship with the Washington football team this fall in their sponsorship group. And so, yes, we do offer internships. And then we also partner with the clubs to see if there are other opportunities within their school year, if they're near a club. And if that's not the case, a lot of our virtual speaking series also include some of our partners. We know that we don't have a ton of jobs at the NFL. And then so that's why we include the clubs. And then the clubs, we know that between the two of us, that's not, necessarily everybody. So then the partners also come on board with their opportunities as well.
Awesome. Now, let's talk about this. I know you kind of touched on the NFL experience chip, right?
Yeah.
Now, break it down to me. The initiative is something new you guys have. It's going to open doors, right? But how can a HBCU institution use it to their advantage to be able to go to the next level?
So our experiences are students primarily come out of our Careers in Football Forum that's held in December, but it's an application-based, essay-based, used to be recommendation-based. But what it is students who are interested in sports, as you're very well aware, in entertainment, it is a networking industry. Who you know, what experience you have on top of that. And so what we were finding out is that there are a lot of students who may not necessarily have that network. It's no secret that you sort of in this industry you get a lot of the pool of talent from individuals that you know. And so if you don't know anyone, that becomes an issue, and then you're not necessarily within that pool. And so what we did is this experience allows for students to build their network. As well as, like I said, they see it's not all the glitz and glamour, and they see behind the scenes, and they say, is this actually for me? And so they'll come out with us and get real live job experience. They actually have to interview other people that they're engaging with. So they're building their network in that manner, as well as building their understanding of what it takes to be in an NFL department. And then they report back to their school, to us, what they learned, any recommendations and that sort of thing. And then they also, a lot of them are connect with the next class. And so we're expanding that this year. And in order for schools to be involved, it literally is just an application process. And we go through the conference commissioners for students as well.
Okay, so the conference commissioners will have that information and disseminate it from there?
Yep. So the conference commissioners disseminate most of the information for us. We do have relationship with some of the school presidents as well, the ADs, a lot of the coaches. Some of the coaches are in our programming for that want to move up to coaching ranks within the professional ranks. So we have programs for them as well. And so we try to hit every single opportunity to make sure that the students understand and hear about what initiatives that we have going on. But this open house was exactly that, so that they could get it firsthand from us.
Good. Okay, so you guys moved into a beautiful new building in Englewood, the Wood. So tell me about that. What's happening? Why was it necessary for you guys to have a new place in the greater Los Angeles area?
So they actually, it's an office that's adjacent to SoFi Stadium, which is new, came on board last year, wow. The Super Bowl. So we literally are sitting in Hollywood Park, right across the street. It's not a real street; it's an inner street within Englewood, the great city of Englewood, within the greater Los Angeles area. And what I think is so wonderful about this particular site is they're looking to see how they can actually engage with the community, as opposed to just coming to the community and moving things out. So as an example, yesterday we were filming and our lunch was catered by a neighborhood restaurant. Some of the and things around the office are from the neighborhood. And so it was one of those things where it's an attempt to make sure that, again, you're looking at how do we become a part of a neighborhood, as opposed to we're just coming and plopping down in the middle of it. It's a phenomenal state-of-the-art building. State-of-the-art. I also run a lot of our innovation initiatives from a football perspective. And this is one of the most technologically advanced sites that you will see in the country. Really? I'm sitting in one of the offices, and if I turn my camera around, you'd see people walking up and down because everyone's coming. They just want to see it. They just want to see what all of this, the hype is about. And obviously you're in California where there's so much technology, so many technology companies, and they had to come with it, as you will, with all of the technology within the stadium, not only, but also within this facility. Beautiful state-of-the-art facility from a standpoint of the network, our digital media. We just opened up our football operations group here. So we're expanding out west. So this is football operations west. For us, our club business development group has folks out here. So we're excited. We're super, super. Now the internet is a little choppy today, but it's day 3. But it is a phenomenal facility that I think people are going in the neighborhood are going to be proud to say, this is part of their home. And then certainly we are extremely proud to be here.
Well, awesome. Now, let's talk about something else. I mean, that's a beautiful stadium. SoFi, beautiful stadium. You guys got a beautiful location, new location. Now, when it comes to giving back to the community, you guys are doing it. When it comes to recognizing the importance of HBCU athletes and their importance to the National Football League, that's been kind of hit or miss over the past couple of years. Is that something that the commissioners did address directly to you guys?
So I mean, I know there's a lot of stories that came out this last year around the fact that there weren't any HBCU students that were drafted, and the scouts are still. I mean, they did it differently this year, obviously because of COVID. But we actually were starting our first HBCU specific combine over this past year, but COVID prevented us from doing that. And in lieu of that, we worked with the commissioners to provide funding for them to have tapes of particular players that could be scouted electronically and virtually. This year, we are going to, in February of 2022, part of the end of our season, we will have the HBCU Combine. Heck or high water, we're going to have the HBCU Combine, where we want to make sure it's not just one of those things where you just want to slap a name on and say, oh, this is the HBCU initiative. This literally came from former players who were not HBCU graduates, who called the office and said, they wanted to make sure that the talent was recognized and seen. And then 2 young men, I believe, called our office and spoke to my boss, Troy Vincent, who they said that they were supposed to go to a larger school for a pro day and were not able to see the scouts. And he was like, we are not having that. So he and I talked. We talked to one of our former players who also works in our office, and born was the HBCU Combine. Again, canceled because of COVID. But this year will happen in some form or fashion, and we'll have 100 talented individuals who will be out there showcasing their work. And I can't run the 40 for anybody, but I can just make sure that there is exposure and there is access and there are people there to evaluate that talent. And so we're extremely serious about making sure that people get opportunity to showcase that talent, whether that is on the field or off the field.
Right. VP of Football Operations, Troy Vincent, he's done a tremendous job over the past several years, a former player, a great player in his own right. And I know the challenges last season, and I reported a lot of, what happened through COVID-19 and working with the NFLPA. You guys did a tremendous job. What are some of the challenges now? Because I know this weekend coming up, you guys are going to have the Black College Hall of Fame Classic, right? Yep. Doug Williams and James Shaq Harris, who I know both of those guys very well. They're going, the co-founders, they're going to spearhead this classic between 2 legendary schools, Grambling State University and Tennessee State. Tell me about that. How did that come to fruition?
So this is, I want to say, forgive me, I think it's the second or third year. I think maybe it's the third year that they're doing this, if not it's the second. And it was a partnership with the Pro Football Hall of Fame and with the Black College Football Hall of Fame. I'm not sure if your listeners are aware that the Pro Football Hall of Fame actually has a Black College Football Hall of Fame. Yes. That now resides there. And so then the game coincided with that. And so we actually support it. We support the museum. We encourage people to go see the museum, part of the museum.
Awesome.
I love the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and can't say enough about the work that they're doing with the Black College Football Hall of Fame. And then we're extremely excited because it will air on NFL Network. Shameless plug. And so it's one of those things that we are just committed to excellence in football, and that's what you're going to see. And so we partner with both entities to make sure that it's one where, again, we have exposure. I grew up in Texas, and going to Black HBCU games, that is, you don't know any different. I was talking with someone else about, I'm a professional. I'm in football. We love football, but doggone if you go to those games for those bands.
It's totally different. It's a totally different experience.
It is the experience like no other. You'll take somebody who's never been before with you, and they will come out wowed. And so, and so it's a great partnership. We're excited to have people see this. This is going to be a great game. Even outside of these conversations, you're hearing people talking about this. We're excited that we have some former players that, high-profile players. We've had former players that have coached at HBCUs for years, but this year there's a lot more excitement around it because you have a couple of really high-profile names that are involved. And so I think this is going to be a really good kickoff. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be everything that you would expect for these two teams and this venue to be.
Yeah, exciting, great, because you have the former Heisman Trophy winner, first-round draft choice of the Houston Oilers back in the day, and went on to be a legend himself. Mr. Eddie George will be the head coach of the Tennessee State Tigers. Wow. Just think about that. Deion did a great job. I know Deion worked with the network, and I'm pretty sure you worked with Deion in some sort of capacity.
Big in youth football when I was in youth football. Very big.
Yeah. Look, Deion did such a lot of people, and I listened to some of the snipes that some of other media portrayed upon Deion going into becoming a head football coach of a college program. But he was successful as a high school football coach. His sons are very successful young men, and his son is taking over as quarterback of his program. The thing I guess I'm saying is this. After this past weekend with the MEAC SWAC challenge, with over 1 million viewers being able to tune in, you see the impact that the spring games had with Deion Sanders, exposing the HBCU experience to a lot to people. You're from Texas, or is that Houston, Texas? What part?
Houston. Come on, Prairie View and TSU right there.
Yeah. So look, I live in Houston. So
okay.
So I was going to attend Prairie View before Morehouse gave me an offer. But the PV TSU Labor Day Classic, I'm covering that this weekend coming up as well. So there's a lot of great, talented rivalries that's coming up. You see it happening all over the place. But I love the fact that the National Football League, the professional league itself, is taking note as well as helping out. That's great.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things where we talked about this with the conference leadership. It was around, we've got a lot of rivalries, storied rivalries. We've got a lot of storied schools where people are like just discovering HBCUs this year. And it's one of those things where those of us who have been around HBCUs for all our life, we're excited because then it's not, I want people to get out of their head, oh my goodness, now you have all these companies or whatever that are now just discovering HBCUs. And we tend to, say, oh, we've been doing this for so long and we've been in the game. But let's stop that and just say, we are celebrating excellence. And the more people who can celebrate with us is phenomenal. Dr. Thomas from the MEAC said it best. He said, HBCUs and African Americans, Black Americans, they're the most inclusive group We don't like to be exclusionary. You don't have to have gone to an HBCU. You don't have to have experience necessarily with an HBCU to appreciate the experience that you will get at a game and with their football programs, and to be able to support an HBCU. And I think that's what's so beautiful about our platform. And I think that's what's so great about what people are going to be able to see this year. And so the NFL wants to partner with that, because if we can bring light to it, if we can bring exposure to it, I know people won't be disappointed. You're not going to be disappointed in the football experience. And if we can use that football experience to make sure that you see the talent that's coming from these HBCUs, you're definitely not going to be disappointed.
You won't. I remember the days going to the Bayou Classic.
Yeah.
I grew up in New Orleans. My dad was a Southern Jaguar alum. My mom, Dillard alum, and my uncles was Grambling. So house divided a lot of times. But it was fun. The rivalries were fun. The people, the love, the experience of it all. Not from the bands, but the dancers, the atmosphere, the passion was what you cannot duplicate with just a regular old Division I football program. And I've covered those, and I'm covering HBCUs. I tell people it's like this: we put the filet in the gumbo, baby.
Don't make me hungry now.
Yeah.
I've been in Biloxi, Mississippi, and so I spent a lot of time going through New Orleans and eating a lot of filet.
Yeah, look. If it were not for the HBCUs, it'd just be regular soup.
Oh man!
Natara, look, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Now, did you attend a HBCU, or did your family?
Oh yeah. So we've got a long history with Prairie View. I always tell people my money went to Prairie View when my nephew went. But my mother-in-law, she went to Prairie View. My brother-in-law, my sister-in-law. Oh yeah, we've got a long history. My cousins went to Houston Tillotson.
Oh wow, great school.
Very good friends. TSU, obviously, because I went down the street to University of Houston. So TSU was right there, and many long time friends went to TSU. So yeah, lots of history with HBCUs.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people who went to like University of Houston or Rice or one of the other major institutions in Houston spent most of their time at TSU and Prairie View.
It was mostly Prairie View back then, but yeah.
Yeah, see, she
don't tell my TSU friends. Spent a lot of time. I think there have been people on the Prairie View campus that would have said, "No, she went there." That's the beauty of HBCUs. That's how it is.
Yeah, look, when I was at Morehouse, those guys at Emory and Georgia Tech, they'll come and hang out with us. Yeah, so I understand.
Exactly.
All right.
I'm a wannabe.
There you go. Now, before we leave, is there anything else about the NFL, anything else about your offices, what you guys are doing in conjunction with the historical Black colleges and universities that we need to know?
I think we have some really special things that are coming up. The open house was just the beginning. It is literally a preview to the season. We are extremely excited about Careers in Football Forum that happens every December with Celebration Bowl. We are extremely excited about the Combine, our Madden tournament that will culminate at Super Bowl. Our experience shifts that are going to give students a lot of experience over the year and leading into the summer for our internships. We are extremely excited to partner again with HBCU Battle of the Brains, and we're expanding that relationship as well. HBCU Week, there are so many different, last year alone, we did 43 initiatives, even in a COVID year, with HBCUs. Wow. And our partnership with the four conferences in particular is just getting so much stronger. We partnered on the officiating side, we partnered on the player side, we partnered on the student side, the student athlete side. It's getting stronger by the minute, and we could not be more excited about it. We partner with NABJ to work with HBCU students in journalism. You name it, we do it, and we're just truly excited to be a part of it, and to, like I said, not discover the talent, but to represent the talent that's coming out of HBCUs.
Awesome. Now, before you go, I have to ask this one question, because this is how I really was able to be offered the opportunity to speak with you. I did read the piece on Maya Shaka, right? And she's the first Black female official representing from an HBCU, Norfolk State. How do you feel? Just your immediate thoughts. How do you feel about her being not only given the opportunity, embracing it and taking charge and doing a phenomenal job?
First, I would love to change the narrative just a little bit. She wasn't given; she earned it. Earned it. And as a Black female, I just so much empathy for her, because been there, as a first in my own right within the NFL. It's a all eyes on you. What are you going to do next? Who are you going to bring along? But she earned it. She deserves it. She's going to kill it. And she's not going to be the last. And I think that's the most important part of it is the legacy is going to continue.
That's right. Doug Williams and I were talking about her, and Doug made him reflect on something Eddie Robinson said to a reporter. Just give him an opportunity.
Right.
That's all he needs. Just give him an opportunity. James Shaq Harris, a lot of people kind of forget that he was the first Black starter as a quarterback in the National Football League. Not only that year did he start, but he had a perfect passer rating. He went on to be the MVP of the Pro Bowl. People don't talk about that stuff, and it's kind of hidden. But hopefully in this day and age, we will have more Maya Shakas representing and doing a phenomenal job in officiating for the National Football League.
And because of the individuals who are in that department, who are working on that and very intentional about that, she will be joined by a number of other talented individuals as well.
Awesome. Great. Well, look, Ms. Holloway, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being with me with the HBCU Legends. We'll have more coming from the National Football League as well as your department a little bit later. Look, now you're family. You can't get rid of us. You're part of us. We got to have you back later, okay?
Absolutely. It would be my pleasure and honor.
All right, great. This is Kyle T. Mosley with Miss Natara Holloway of the National Football League. Guys, let's get it right. She's the VP of Business Operations Strategy within the football operations. Correct?
Yes, correct.
All right. You have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.